gonna spend the next 45 minutes talking ship. We're gonna show you some cool stuff that you've hopefully
Ok ragazzi, siamo tornati con il Talking Ships. Il controllo che voi vediate tutto correttamente. Sì, in realtà state vedendo tutto correttamente. Ok. Vediamo cosa ci dicono oggi. Questo per me è molto importante per la Polaris. Vediamo un po'.
But we're now going to do a bit of a slightly deeper dive into the actual art and visuals of the ship.
Io intanto sto giocando un po' a Siege. Siege sicuramente. Oh, ce la posso fare. A Star Citizen. No, ce l'ho ancora, Kino. Ce l'ho. Adesso te lo porto. Stai arrivando tu? No, te lo porto io.
Va bene,
And then we go straight into engineering where you find the rest of the ship components that it needs.
Non lo so.
Up front we've got a completely fully featured habitation area, suit lockers, weapon lockers, pod beds, everything you're going to need. And then right at the cockpit we have a two-pilot cockpit, and I think the Crusader engineers have done a fantastic job of putting everything that the pilot needs right at their fingertips. So, you know, in the heat of battle, you kind of might just eke out that advantage. Exterior-wise, it's classic Crusader. We've got our recessed weapons. We've got our rear-mounted
non dovresti sentire l'audio del game.
And then underneath is all business. We've got the missile racks and we've got the big bomb bays.
Vabbè, questa è la 1, la 1 già l'abbiamo
Crusader have done
vista.
it again. They've done a amazing job of packaging something that's like super feature rich and something stylish, sleek, looks fast, but still super aggressive. And then here is one last look.
Che figata, cazzo,
okay,
lo
that was one last look at the
spaccato.
interior.
Questa è la C1.
Questa è la A1, il bombardiere, che è uguale, cambia niente, è identica, solo che ha la zona per i pacchi al posto di bombe. Sì, ho riaperto la live.
No,
si era bloccata.
Thursday. I've honestly lost track of time the last few days. So yeah, that's the current.
Ok,
Let's
sto per
talk
decollare.
about something a bit further in the past. So, we have a timeline here from the today all the way through to today in game. And throughout that time period, we have our manufacturers in law, starting with RSI in the very near future, going all the way through to Mirai, which is this year in game. And over that, we have some very old ships, ships that people think are quite old. We have the Hornet, we have the Aurora, and we have the Gladius.
La Gladius.
However, as you can see, there is quite a gap from the current day to these old ships. So let's talk about one that is a bit older than that. So.
Presenta la Zeus! Oh!
So in 2130, in 2130, RSI made some major kind of advancements in quantum technology. They developed, or they released, the first ship that was kind of available to the mass market that had quantum capability. This kind of mid-range explorer really put RSI at the kind of forefront of ship development. Now, it was a really good thing, it really kind of boosted them as a company, but it wasn't kind of all good. The original RSI Zeus had some major issues with its whole integrity. That being said, there's always kind of been this demand for RSI to release the Zeus. It's kind of had this cult following that's grown up over the years. I'm kind of very happy to announce today that RSI have kind of taken that challenge on board. They've developed a whole new vehicle that is designed to ferry a whole new generation of travelers across our universe. Visually, it's something that pays homage back to the original Zeus, and something that's really is justified to have that name. And I'm even happier to say it exceeds all current safety standards and all our current ship production techniques.
So, do you want to have a look at the all-new RSI ZEUS Mark II?
Cazzo, sì, vai, pompa fuori.
Okay then.
Pompa giù. Wow, bella. Bella.
So,
bella cazzo.
To Elwin and Mark to go through this.
Bella, bella.
So we're going to do a bit of a deeper dive onto these 3 ships now. So, over to Mark and Elwin.
Bella cazzo.
Go.
Porca troia, continuano a buttare fuori roba che mi piace, non va bene sta cosa, eh.
Hi there, everyone. My name is Mark Gibson. I'm the lead vehicle content designer at Cloud Imperium Games.
And I'm Owen Batchelor, vehicle art director in North America. What do you guys think? Awesome. All right, well, let's take some time now and take a look at this classic RSI design and see how we've reimagined it.
So,
Bella.
when we decided we wanted to tackle the Zeus,
Molto,
we had
molto
to
bella.
consider what direction RSI would take it in if they were going to do it today. We
Male,
couldn't just
molto male.
remake the original Zeus because, although it was obviously a massive piece of history, all it was really used for was transporting and moving around. So we had to consider exactly what we wanted to do with the ship. In the end, we decided to go for 3 variants, allowing you to pick which way you want to actually play the game. So what we're going to do is talk about those variants that we decided on in the end and go into a bit more detail with them.
Cosa?
First of all, we have the ES. The ES is the essential. It's the long-range exploration version of the Zeus. It's designed to let you go out for a long time and explore the universe. Next up, we have the Mark. The Mark is the bounty hunter version. This is there for
Ah, ma è
you so you can
grossa,
actually
cazzo.
go out, find
Pensavo
your
fosse
targets, and bring them
piccolina.
back. It's also been purposely outfitted
Questa qual è?
so that you have all the tools
Quella
that you
nuova,
need
non-
to disable, capture, and bring them home.
Da combattimento.
Finally, the
Non
last
idea.
version we're going to talk about is the CL, the Clipper. Might be a name people are familiar with if they know much about maritime. This is the cargo version of the ZEUS Mark II. This is designed so that you can move your goods around the universe.
Of the 3 variants,
Bella.
the Zeus Essential is the one that harkens back the most to the original design, with the original white on black paint job and the vertical stabilizers. We also worked to maintain the silhouette of the original, but brought that forward to modern day RSI design with tons of technical detail and layered panels. And on the underside, the landing gear and the underslung turret, as well as the entrance
È un po' una
ladder,
piccola Polaris, mi piace, cazzo.
Sai che hanno
behind a
fatto?
super smooth underbelly,
Cosa?
just like the original
Sai che
design.
hanno fatto? Praticamente quando ti siedi nel
Probably all want
posto
to see
di
what the inside
guida
looks like. So let's have a closer look.
si
Aspetta.
spegne
The spine,
Aspetta un secondo, aspetta un secondo.
sleek and slim body of the Zeus, we've been able to pack a lot into it.
Bella
to give everything
figa.
you need when you're doing the deep space
È
exploration.
molto
You have a
simile
fairly
come
comfortable habitation and recreation area,
costruzione.
so that when you're out away from home, it's not too unpleasant. In addition to that, the rear room has a 32 SU cargo capacity, as well as being able to fit a cyclone.
È molto
So if you
simile
do
alla
decide to land on
C1.
planet, you can have
Più
a look around.
grossa, più bella.
Talking about the loadout, it's a ship designed for 3 crew.
Ti dico che anche arrivo, eh.
Size 2 shield
vieni al
generators,
5, te l'ho già
No,
messo, ci
size 2
sono
lì,
io.
power plants,
l'hai già
2
aperto?
size 2 coolers,
Sì.
and 2 size 4 power
Oltre
control
alla
weapons.
nave però.
And obviously the lower turret that Elwin mentioned
Guarda che
earlier
posso
is
star
a
dentro
size
po'. La
3
tua nave la devi
turret.
togliere. Ti sto
Now,
dando
the
il
Zeus
ticket
Mark
per
was
la
always
cosa.
designed from the beginning to be a sleek and aggressive
Devi
bounty
un
hunter.
secondo scendere
As
dall'altra
such, the
parte.
black paint will help you stay hidden in
sì,
the
ma
shadows until you're ready to
aspetta,
strike.
perché-
We've also redesigned the spine in order to embed an EMP and a quantum dampener, which allows us on the art side to really crank up the level of detail on the exterior.
Ecco, magari se
We've
non ti
also
metti in
added a
mezzo è
second
meglio.
remote turret on the
Vero
top.
che ci sei, a posto.
Looking at the interior
Devo
of the
scendere
Mark, you
velocissimo.
see that the habitation
Lo metto
is
qua
taken
per
over
terra,
a
poi
bit.
ti spiego come
Move
fare.
forward, but what we've been
Okay.
able to add in exchange for that is a massive armory. Let you take
Oh.
all the different weapons and equipment you might need while you're tracking your target along the verse.
Cazzo, devo decolare immediatamente.
Dedicated area just for the actual bounty hunter
No, mi
pods.
impando nel
Similar to what
veicolo,
you'll see in the cup
Cristo.
of blue. So you can stack up the pods and take multiple people back with you. It has less SU than the ES. It only has
cazzo
16
succede?
SU. And it does have a different loadout with the components.
Sto cercando di levarmi dei coglioni per non farmi impoundare.
Like Ellen said, it does have a top-mounted
Porca troia, me l'hanno
forward-facing
impoundato.
turret, so that
Chi
you
non
can
era
put the pressure on
minchiato,
the
non devo
target
venire lì,
chasing it.
cazzarola.
The EMP and QD
cazzo vuol dire che
drive
l'hanno
are designed
impoundato?
to
Ma
stop
che
the
adesso devo
target
pagare per
escaping
tirarla fuori.
once you've caught up with them.
Vabbè. Dai, vieni qua che ti spiego come fare.
Focuses on hauling cargo. We've decided to lean into the industrial aesthetic.
Questo è interessante
We've
tra
covered
le
the
tre.
exterior with a warning strip paint job. And we've covered the exterior with more technical detail.
5.000 buttati via
In addition
così,
to that, it comes
cazzo.
with a remote tractor beam which is mounted on the rear
sono
to
dei
the
giochi
side of
di
the
fare,
ramp
dai.
to make it easier to haul cargo in and out of the cargo hold.
Dai, vieni qua ai
Also
monitor.
added thrust capacity to the base of the wings.
Hai preso il ticket almeno?
Sì.
As you can see,
Ce l'ho in
there
Vieni
is
in
an
monitor
absolute
che ti spiego cosa devi
massive
fare.
rate compared to the others. The habitation areas have been massively pushed so that you don't get much space, but we can get way more cargo in. It actually has 4 times the cargo capacity of the S, coming in at 128 SUs of cargo.
Buono.
Anche la mia
This
me
one
l'hanno
also
impoundata alla
features
fine.
3 size 2 shield generators, and like Al mentioned, it has a size 3 tractor beam to make it much easier to get those cargo
Minchia, size
containers
3
in and out as you
tractor
actually
beam.
claim. What do you think?
Non male.
Anche la mia comunque l'hanno fatta poi.
Vieni
Brutto,
qua.
magari.
Vieni qua col biglietto in mano, premi il monitor.
Last year, we introduced the Spirit.
Dove vai?
And
aspetta che
anyone
ti
that may be playing on live the last couple of days might have seen a new ship added to the verse, the A1.
Col biglietto in
We
mano,
follow a similar route with the ZEUS where we announce it today,
Ok.
and then in about a
Ti ha
year's time,
detto...
ready to reveal to the public to actually play with. But
Aspetta.
this isn't just a concept. We're not just going to show you some images. The ZEUS is actually in active white box development right
È
now.
già in white?
Just want to have a look? Shall we?
Hai messo il biglietto al monitor?
Okay.
No.
Devi tirarlo in mano e premere il monitor.
Ma ce l'avevo in mano io, che fine ho fatto il biglietto?
Se non ce l'hai più
As you guys have seen
e ce
with
l'avevi
the
in mano e hai
Spirit,
premuto il
and with the
monitor,
many
vai
ships
ai
we've
monitor
released
delle
thus
navi, ti
far,
trovi
our ships
l'F8
can, when they're
rentata.
finished, look
Per
absolutely
24 ore.
gorgeous. But before any of them get to that
Se la volevo
point,
comprare.
they have to go through a very
Vai sul
specific
sito.
development process, and this is the first stage in that process. We
Bella.
call this white
Ah,
box.
sì, ce l'ho.
At this point,
Ok,
we've taken
tirala
the
fuori.
concept,
Ci
ripped
vediamo in
it to
volo.
shreds, and then reassembled it and plugged it all back together within the editor so that we can get a real good look at what players are going to see when they finally get this game. At this stage, with the ZEUS, we've already ripped out all the thrusters,
le
we've
cose
ripped out the
che
landing
nella nave
gear,
qua
the
e poi
turret,
tipo
Aspetta un attimo,
the
Kino,
beds,
aspetta un
all of
attimo.
the interior spaces,
Sta spiegando,
plug those guys
secondo.
back in, and we have what you see here.
Bella. Cazzo è la mia nave, porca.
So again, the beginning of the process. At this point, we're able to jump in, start throwing in cargo, interacting with doors,
Puttana.
getting in and out of beds, maybe in and out of toilets,
Non è
and just getting
piccola,
an overall
cazzo.
sense of what it feels like to interact with the vehicle. And it is very common that in this stage, we will make some adjustments from the original plan. As an example, on this ship, we've just made the decision to expand the center corridor, add a little bit more
Perché
space to the
claim,
rooms.
porco?
And as a result, that's going to make it much smoother experience for players to traverse the interior of the ship, as well as for AI to traverse the
Allora
interior of the
trasporto
ship.
un attimo le cose.
We've also expanded
Aspetta un
the
attimo,
main
Kino, aspetta,
airlock that
aspetta.
leads to the enter-exit ladder. And up here in the cockpit, we've separated the co-pilot seats a tad bit just to allow players to get in and out a little easier. So with White Box, not the prettiest stage in the process, but it is essential that we nail this because it means we'll be able to deliver a beautiful ship that is also extremely fun to
Minchia, ne hai
play.
i cannoni, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Che non ho visto sotto. La mia nave me la danno tra 5 minuti.
Esteticamente anche figa.
Sì, è molto bello.
So that was the RSI ZEUS, the 3 variants.
Ma bianca è
Obviously,
perché è
the
in
screen
white
says
box.
behind me. It's available now on the Star Citizen website. You all follow that URL or the QR code behind me.
Vediamo l'URL.
Che cazzo è un telecomando
We've
della
just talked
Motorola?
about the ship with the longest legacy in the universe. It was the first ship with the quantum travel. let's change pace a little bit and talk about a much newer ship. We're going to talk about
Storm.
the cutter.
Ah, la cutter. Mi interessa la
Good
cutter.
little ship. So, obviously,
La carta
last year, IE,
l'abbiamo studiata.
we unveiled the cutter, and you
È
guys
brutta,
seem to
però
love
è
it.
molto
Some
versatile.
interesting information about it. It was actually the single most popular straight-to-flight ready ship we've ever released. You guys really, really liked it. In addition to that,
sì.
it's actually the best-selling Drake ship to date. But what people didn't know, and we kept a very good guarded secret that no one managed to figure out, no one, it was always meant to be a family of 3. Now, what everyone is already familiar with is the base. That's the version that's out in the universe right now that you're already enjoying. What we're going to do today, though, is we're going to talk about the next variant in the family, the Scout.
All right, let's just take a minute and sort of enjoy the incredible work that the art team has done pushing this guy out.
Ma non costa neanche tanto la Zeus, figa, pensavo chissà che cosa.
Quanto costa che non ho guardato?
153 War Bond.
Ma almeno è figo.
Sì, secondo me sì.
Ma qual è?
Quello che è un presentatore.
Quella bianca?
When the
Sì.
original Scout was, when the original Cutter was released, it helped us
Secondo me ti conviene più
refine the
quella.
Drake aesthetic.
Tra la
And
C1 e
now,
quella
with
ti
the
conviene
variants,
quella.
we'll be able to add a unique identity to each version. On the Scout, we've decided to replace the main thrusters with a dual thruster system. And you'll see here we've also added a radar dish to the top, which relates directly to the scanning gameplay that comes with this ship. In addition to that, we have a series of exterior bottom modifications to just push that flavor a little bit further. And you'll see here a transition between the default and the Scout, so you can clearly see the differences. On the interior, we've expanded the rear section of the ship in order to include a dedicated standing scanning station, which will show up here in a second. Along with that, we've also increased the space in the rear to house the larger components that are necessary to support that gameplay. Now, expanding the rear did encroach into the habitation, but we were able to rearrange the components in that room so that nothing was lost in the transition. And on the cockpit, it's the same cockpit that you all know and love from the original Cutter. From this view, you'll more clearly see the shift that we had to make in the rear in order to support the gameplay that we're trying to achieve. We're really proud of what the team has done with this ship, and we hope you like the Scout as much as we do.
So, obviously, we've just introduced the Scout. What are the main differences between the base? It is a variant, after all. So, the first big difference is the radar. It has a size 2 radar, and to supply that, it comes with a size 2 power plant and a size 2 cooler. Getting tripped on my own words. As well as the dedicated scan terminal that Ella mentioned earlier. Obviously, as you saw, habitation got a little bit cozier. And unfortunately, it has lost 2 SCU compared to the base, so it only has 2 SCU cargo capacity instead of the 3. Now, what we also want to do is talk a little bit more about the future of scanning, if people are interested in hearing about that. So what is the future of scanning? We'll touch on it lightly. At the moment, there are 2 main ways for you to interact with the scanning gameplay loops. The first one's obviously the scan, and the second one's the ping system. Both of these are going to be merged into a single system known as a scan wave. When you send a scan wave out, if you get any successful pings, what will happen is it will immediately populate your HUD with an AR marker, giving you information about what you've been able to scan, as well as starting to give you far more interesting information than you get now, rather than just the name of the ship. The underlying system will work on the signature system, similar to what it does today, and there are two main scans. There is the quick scan. The quick scan is just a low version of it. It has a very small impact on your own signal output, so if you want to stay a little bit more covert and potentially not be seen looking at something you shouldn't, you can use that one instead. The main benefits are small increase to your actual passive detection range, as well as being able to detect things that maybe are a little fainter than you should be able to see. This has a decent amount of cutting through interference, but not phenomenal. The other version is the charge scan. The charge scan is the big scan. Now, this will actually allow you to detect things up to quantum boost range, which is way, way further than the current passive detection range. And not only that, but it'll actually drop a marker allowing you to jump straight to that location for whatever it is that you found.
Cazzo, che bella sta cosa. Finalmente ragazzi iniziamo seriamente a parlare di...
Now, you don't want to be jumping in blind. And as I said, it's going to give you way more information than it did before. Some examples, but not limited to this, are things like, whatever it is it charging a quantum drive? Is it firing? Is the shields generating? Does it have any shields? Is it perhaps charging an EMP? Maybe it's got a snare up trying to catch you. It gives you that additional information so you can make the decision whether you actually want to get to that location. That's just a brief glimpse into the future of scanning, what our vision is.
C'è una nave qua ferma qua davanti al...
Right now, the Scout is actually in 321.
Ok, sono pronto a decollare adesso.
If you go to that address, go to our website, QR code, it's actually in the universe right now. You don't need to wait for a patch for that. I've been Mark.
La posso rubare?
And before we step off, if you haven't had a chance to get one of these hats, this
Non
one in
dobbiamo provare la
particular
nave.
is signed by 7 members of the ship development team. And if
Cazzo, la
you
mia
want
nave.
it, during the meet and greet, if you can tell me the name of the 7 people who signed this, all of who are in attendance here, by the way, today, the first person to give me those names gets to keep it. Other than that, thanks guys and have a great CitizenCon.
Small hit for you. John Crew is one of those names. Well, fantastic guys, everyone. We're going to hand you back to John and Ben. They've got a few more surprises for you.
Perché non mi sta andando sta cazzo di nave?
Right. So, as Mark said there, scanning stuff is coming in the future.
Ancora.
We didn't show a lot of it because it does sort of turn up in some other teams.
Vado a
panels,
cremarla
and
di
we didn't
sopra
wanna
a sto
steal their
punto.
glory a day early. So I highly recommend sticking around for both the UI one and the flight one tomorrow. So, we've talked about the past, we've talked about the present. Let's talk about the future. So, here is a big block of squares that represents our backlog. So, each one of these squares is a ship or a vehicle. All the light blue ones are all the ones we have released to date. All those grey ones are the ones that we have not done yet. The dark blue ones are the ones that will be in your hands by the end of the year.
Aspettami
So,
Treasure.
we have over 200 vehicles for us to support as a vehicle content team. For those of you that are trying to do the maths in your head right now, going, that's
Sì,
the
devo
wrong
mettere il
number.
spawn.
This
Vai, chiamiamo
includes
le 8.
every
Sì.
single vehicle that we've ever shown to you, whether that's in a Squadron 42 visual tease or like a trailer. Some of them are obviously Squadron exclusives, some of them are going to be NPC exclusives. We still have to support them all. So every vehicle in the game, we have our hands on, and we do a lot of work to support them for you. Not the only thing we do. We obviously introduce new content like the Mirai Fury. We deliver previous promised content. And as you'll see today and tomorrow, we do a lot of gameplay support. So obviously we help out. Ships are like the heroes of the game. You saw in the resource network engineering panel how that's going to impact ships. You will have seen, if you've been paying super close attention, some UI elements to do with maps. Stay tuned for that. We do all that. So we do a lot of work across all aspects of both projects. And to do all that, we need to do a few things.
Okay, yeah, so John's talked a bit about the backlog. I'm going to kind of take a little bit, how are we going to deliver this? So in April 2023, we actually kicked off a new ship team in our newest studio, Turbulent, based out of Montreal. Yeah, go Canada. So we've now got 5 artists, or vehicle artists, 1 vehicle designer, 1 embedded QA tester, and 1 producer. And that kind of gives us everything we need to start bringing content out of another location. And it also means that we now have kind of reps globally for the vehicle content team in all 5 of our studios. What's the really nice thing about that is it kind of opens up a new pool of kind of talent that we can pick from, and it should really help us to deliver some more content to the game. And you've actually just seen the first 2 ships out of that studio. So the Scout variant and the ZEUS are both being developed by our Montreal team. Yeah, they're doing great. We're going to look a little bit more in depth at the art team and how we've grown over the years. You can see from this graph, this is our kind of like live numbers of how many vehicle artists we have dedicated to the project. You can see there's a nice trajectory going up. And with more team members, that also means we get kind of like not just more people to throw at stuff, but we get more experience, we get more knowledge. And that's, that allows us to kind of tackle our larger, kind of more complex ships. You will notice there in 2022, there is a little dip. And unfortunately, when that happens, that has kind of real consequences on what we are able to do as a team. I think, less people, so less power to put on stuff, but also some of that knowledge leaves us. With that leads us to have to make some kind of pretty hard and heavy decisions about what we're working on. And I think most recently, and probably most well known, is the Bounty Merchantman. Yeah. Now, we're going to take a quick look at where we got to with the Merchantman, just to show where we were up to before.
No, la Bounty Merchantman è un'altra navicella molto succosa che a me personalmente non interessa, però comunque è una di quelle cose che ti permetterà di incrementare il gameplay in maniera sostanziale, oltre al fatto che è una bella nave con una bella linea. Grossa, tra l'altro, parecchio più grossa della Polaris, se non mi ricordo male, sensibilmente più grossa della Polaris, tra l'altro. A chi non sono arrivato a Tresler adesso... Richiamo la nave.
Io ho fatto il claim di quella ora perché si sono passati 5 minuti. Sì.
Ci vogliono 5 minuti anche a me.
Cioè, ho fatto il claim di nuovo, ho fatto rifare il claim.
Anche a me ha dato problemi, Bella la tuta. Ok, cazzo, l'ideale effettivamente era cazzo. Sta molto di meno.
Per sbaglio hanno aumentato il prezzo dei soldi.
Hanno aumentato il prezzo dei soldi?
Dai siti.
Ah, non ho idea. Io dopo la prima volta che ho testato per provare, perché mi interessava provare, basta, poi non mi interessava provare. Bella la banda, bella bella.
Io poi mi metto a cercare qualcosa. Già mi voglio togliere la title, figurati.
Perché?
Non è granché.
Non sono d'accordo, la Titan invece secondo me è molto bella. Non ti togliere navi, aggiungi la china.
No, non le voglio togliere, volevo scambiarla con una nave grande.
Non farlo, te la togli. Aggiungi.
Sì, aggiungi, ma se sono navi che no, comunque sicuramente no, sicuramente è 3 volte meglio della Aurora, assolutamente. Tutta la vita dai. Non mi è passata la fantasia di avere l'arcivotto medico, onestamente.
Come mai?
È carina, quelle resine gratuite, eccetera, che si ricaricavano per essere una comunità l'arcivotto.
Sì.
Assolutamente. Però volevo sempre dire no. Anche perché la Titan si dice principalmente non sta con una nave che non possono stare.
So that video shows where we got up to with the merchantman. You can see we'd finished white box. We were kind of into grey box. Some areas were further than others. And I think one of the best things about working at a company like Cloud Imperium Games is that we're able to be pretty honest and pretty open with our development. One of the biggest questions we get is, what's up with the merchantman? Where is it? Why did it stop? And the merchantman brought a lot of unique challenges to us. It was a completely new art style, something that's very, very different from what we normally do with our human manufacturers. I think, we could have paused other ships. We could have moved some of our other artists onto the merchantman. But with the kind of exodus of our kind of senior team in 2022, we didn't just lose people, we lost a lot of the knowledge that went into building out that white box and really kind of delivering that art style. What we decided to do at the time is, rather than try and rush something out and just get something out to get it done, we looked at where we were, and for us, the most important thing was growing our team back up. We wanted to invest in our team and use our seniors and our kind of managers to help get us up to the point where we can tackle multiple large capital ships at one time. I think the graph previously kind of showed that we've got the headlines now, and now it's about onboarding
Nel
our
pledge
staff
store.
members. It's about
I
scaling them up
cerchi
and getting them to
F8.
the point. And I would absolutely love to be stood here on stage and going, yeah, look at the merchantman, it's amazing. Like, it's
Ti mando il
done.
link.
But we're not at that point just yet. We do see all the comments. I do see all the notes about it. And, I absolutely want to get this ship out and done. And, we'll... Yeah, I just wanted to be open and honest as to where we are up to with the development.
Yeah. To add to that, it is probably the most question I get asked at any event, and I really want to get it done, get it out for you guys, but we don't want to give you a half-baked thing. We want to give you a really great product that we can all be proud of, and it's delivered alongside gameplay. So, let's talk about something else quickly. So, Squadron 42 vehicles. How many of you have an Idris of some kind? Right. So, we plan to deliver the Idris alongside the Squadron, and that doesn't mean just the M. We're going to deliver the M, the P, and the K kit all together in one delivery. Javelin owners, I'm afraid you're going to have to wait a bit longer after that, is obviously the bigger ship players can own. And we have recently looked at what is left to deliver on it. We've got plans. There will be modularity with it. And yeah, that will come after Squadron releases. And those of you who also have Vandal, Scythe, Glaive, Blade, after Squadron releases, you will also get the updated models as well for that. Right. Next.
Okay. No kind of ship panel at a CitizenCon event is kind of done without looking at what's coming up next. Previously, we used to do these kind of like silhouettes. but we kind of always felt they were a little bit predictable. We ended up just
non ho capito la storia delle navi di Squadron 42.
So last year we changed things up. We asked what manufacturer do we want to see make our next large mining ship, and you're going to see more about that at IEE next month. But again, this year we decided just to mix things up a little bit with how we wanted to deliver this.
Okay.
So you're about to see in a minute a video. It shows some ships you might recognize. Hopefully, it will show you some that you don't recognize. But feel free to get on Spectrum afterwards, take a look, give us a guess at what you think they might be, because we'd love to hear your input.
And I will just add to that as well. We aim to deliver everything you see in this video and more in the next 12 months.
Ok, sono curioso. Vabbè, questo lo sapevo. Non l'avevano già rilasciata questa. Oh, questa è una bella cosa. Mi rendono il cargo modulare. Questa è la ZEUS. Questa è la fila combattimento. La corsa. Questa non la conosco, però è bella.
Comunque penso che la venga
Buono. Questa era la ZEUS. Questa è la cosa, il bombardiere. Ma non sto capendo. La Polaris! Yeah! La Polaris arriva.
I don't know if you noticed, but there was quite a big ship at the end of that video.
Yeah.
Sì!
And yeah, just to confirm, that is the Polaris.
Yeah.
Yeah! Quella che ho comprato, sì. L'ultima.
We've done a lot of talking.
Sì.
We'll do a bit more
La
talking.
Polaris e l'F8 erano quelle che volevo della collezione.
Yeah, okay. Just wanted to touch again on why are we doing an RSI ship? Like, what is with that? So the thing about doing another RSI ship is that we've got a really well-established art style for RSI in our universe, and it gives us the ability to kind of train up newest members of the team on something that's kind of quite a known element. That is absolutely not the only benefit, though. The way we are planning on tackling the Polaris is not tackling it as one ship, but actually we want to tackle, well, anyone that knows our backlog knows we have a number of large RSI ships on there. And our kind of plan is that we tackle that as a family of ships. We don't just tackle one of them and then we go off and do something else for 6 months, a year, come back and do another one, something else, come back and do another one. We want to tackle them all together, one after the other. And what that really allows us to do is just kind of streamline our development process. We're able to, for our more common areas of the ship, we're able to build kits that we're confident in, that we can reuse and we can make the most out of them. And then that allows us to focus our development time and our efforts really on the much more unique and the important and exciting areas of each ship. Tackling them as a family kind of allows us to expedite their development. We leverage the experience that we've got within the team. And it just allows us to, like I say, streamline everything. So first up we've got the Polaris, next up we've got the Galaxy, then we've got the Perseus, and that kind of closes out most of our large RSI ships. And then we can see what we want to take on after that.
Well, I think that's pretty much everything we want to talk about today. However, before we go, we're going to... Torsten's already stolen the predictable joke here, so we'll do one last thing to show you guys. So, let's have a look at the current state of the Polaris in engine in its white box state.
Sì, ed è LTI. Ed è LTI, la tua nave non è LTI. Buono lì che mi sta mostrando la mia nave. Fermi lì. La Polaris. C'è le orecchiette che si chiudono. Patatona, bella cazzo. Qui è praticamente post white box, che è lo stato in cui si trova ora. Minchia, è grossa. Grossa, grossa. Sapevo fosse grossa, ma non pensavo così grossa. Qua c'è direttamente l'hangar, quindi io mi alzo, salgo in nave e decollo. Engineering. No, ok, questo è ancora white box, ma ne. Minchia, ne ha di hangar anche dietro, Porca troia. E lui? Cazzo, quanta roba c'è sta nave? Quanta roba? Possiamo assicurare un ingresso. Quanta cattiveria questa nave. Voglio dire, il fumo nello spazio. Oh, la madonna. Mi gusta. Achino, tu piloterai questa nave qua.
Aspetta che mi sto guardando un attimo.
Male, malissimo.
Una mia ragazza che mi ha foto delle tette, mi spiace.
Malissimo.
Preferisco quelle.
Le tette le vedi sempre.
Anzi, ricordo che siamo a 1350 km.
Fa niente. Bella.
La Zeus.
No, la Polaris, figa. Bravi.
Did you guys see that? That was amazing. Give it up for the ship team, everybody. That was amazing. We're back on the show floor at CitizenCon 2953 to show you more awesome things you guys might be missing not here at the Convention Center. Come follow me a little bit. We're going to go on a little bit of a journey down just a leisurely Sunday road drive. And when I drive, I take my favorite vehicle for driving,
il prezzo
the
pieno di
Drake
Inter era 700.
Dragonfly. That's right. It is back from 2018
Io l'ho
with a
pagata poco più della metà.
fresh new pyro paint job that you can see in the digital goodies bag if you purchase it now from the Robert Space Industries pledge store. Check it out now.
Vedrai che poi inizierà a dire no, non faccio l'upgrade, ma la compro a parte e inizia a fare come ho fatto io.
Look here, we have the pyro amalgamated label, I guess you would call it. I don't know what you would call it. I'm not a car guy.
Dimmi quando sei pronto a volare, che facciamo uno
We have
contro
like
uno.
some very cool details designs. I'm gonna try and hop on it. Let's see how badly this goes. Like a glove. It's super cool being up here, actually. I didn't think it would be this cool being up here, but it feels like you're about to drive a dragonfly. If you guys are still here at the show floor, be sure to check out the Drake Dragonfly. I really just want to like drive this thing off the stage. You know that like, what's that feeling you have where you're like on a balcony and you like look over the balcony and you're like, there's a little internal, it's intrusive thought. There's an intrusive thought where it's like jump. My intrusive thought is drive away. And I want to drive away on the Drake Dragonfly right now. This is so cool. We have photographers taking photos. If you guys are interested in looking at your photos afterwards, JRDF will be making those photos available to everybody. I'm sure we'll tweet it out. Galactica, get on it. You know, that's your job. Anyways, I'll cut it back over to Jared. I'll see you guys back here soon. Have fun.
Fight for the mic. Fight for the mic. Just fight for the mic. Just grab the mic when you have to ask. All right, so we are here with members of the vehicle team. I want to say at the start of the show, I made it very clear that marketing did not make any of those videos. Developers made any of those videos. I can't help but notice that Polaris took out that Idris really quick. Are you trying to start about 50 different arguments on Reddit?
Oh yeah, we love for the arguments. Love them.
Polaris.
Ok, hangar 3, Me la dà l'hangar 3.
Ben, would you like to go on record?
All ships are equally as brilliant as each other. Until they get what's coming to them.
Sono anche simpatici, dai.
And Ellen, would you like to revise your answer?
Ok, equipaggiata giusta.
Ah, qua funziona comunque.
The views and opinions of
No,
Ellen
c'è
Bachelor
qualche
Jr.
problema
don't
con i
represent those of
publish.
Cloud Imperium Games, Robert Space Industries, or its subsidiaries.
Ok, sei pronto?
Sto uscendo.
Don't look at
Anch'io.
us! Ben Parr's off the side. It's like just whatever. All right, so the ZEUS. First question that I see a lot of people had on Twitch watching the stream is obviously it doesn't look like the ZEUS that we've all known from the lore and stuff. I mean, I think the first image of the ZEUS was probably in 2012 or 2013 in that really early lore post. Why did we change it?
Were they not listening to the presentation?
I wasn't.
So there's a few things. Obviously, it was built as a product of its time, both in lore and back in the day.
I was too busy looking at how.
Oh, thank you. But also, and I think Ben will probably want to talk about more about this, is we have design languages for RSI now, and it doesn't really fit in with them anymore.
Yeah, I think when we
allineati alla destra.
Reimagining one of our ships.
Sto frenando, sto rallentando a 0.
We didn't want to just release the classic Mini today. We wanted to look at it and
today, so maybe tomorrow?
No. So what we wanted to do was bring it up to standard, both in terms of its quality and what it can deliver as a ship, but also visually. I think RSI has grown as a manufacturer over the years. I think you can see how not all ships roll off the production line in day one. Each of our manufacturers also have a line, and I think it's fine to see progression for that throughout the timeline of our game. Sorry, Zach.
Just say you hate the ZEUS.
But it's not just the visuals of it though. It's important that the amount of time it would take to get your jalopy, because that's why I ask, and up to level.
He did it. This is the real reason. You're going to be in the center.
The amount of time it takes to actually get a ship.
Ci sei?
The amount of time it takes to get a ship actually flight ready and then use it would be a lot of work to get something that, for the most part,
acceleriamo e usciamo dall'aria. Togli il capo, arriviamo al massimo di velocità e molliamo e lasciamo andare un po'.
Non fosse che ero quasi svenuto.
Do more with. It's far more interesting to get a ship that you can do bounty hunting in or cargo in or.
Rallenta un po'. Ti dico quando accelerare.
It's going to be one of those live streams, huh? All right, we're almost at the end. All right, so enough about what the ZEUS is.
Sto scendendo a 1100.
Favorite thing, top of your head, what's your favorite thing about the ZEUS? Ellen? F the address. Mark, favorite thing about the ZEUS?
Scendo a 1000.
Quantum dampener.
Okay,
900.
The
3000 metri.
white and black color.
3000 metri.
Favorite thing about the ZEUS?
Its belly. It's got a really
No, vai, ti raggiungo io. Va bene anche così, ti dico io quando frenare. Dammi la tua velocità.
I just had this image of a ZEUS wearing Spanx.
Ok, siamo paralleli, eh?
What are you laughing at? All right, so we also talked about the Cutter Scout. Is this the last variant of the Cutter we're going to see? When we first introduced the Cutter, we said it was a platform ripe for future variants. Is this the last Cutter variant that's on the thing, or can you maybe tease something for the future?
Absolutely not. There was obviously that mysteriously third blurred image. So the Montreal team, did both of them as basically
dovremmo essere fuori zona.
Task into the vehicle pipeline. Both of them
Vai,
are
frena a 0
now. So you will see the third one soon, TM.
You just have a done spaceship and you're not putting it out there.
Strange, isn't it?
That entire talk about the pipeline was BS.
Ti devo insegnare poi il trucco di girarti su te stesso per frenare più velocemente. Ok, sei pronto?
Yeah.
Vai, combattimento.
All right. We're working with diminishing
Non
returns
arriviamo
here,
a
so we're
farci
going to wrap
esplodere
this
però.
up. We're going to go back to Dan. He's back in Hall B. I think he's at the merch booth. Dan, what do you got for us?
Well, the opposite of diminishing returns is amazing merch. I am here at the merch booth with some amazing merch that we made just for CitizenCon. Now, if you guys are at home feeling the FOMO, that's fair. You guys should have been here, and I'm very sad you're not here. But don't worry, if you're not here, most of the merch on display behind me is available for you guys to pick up at the RSI Pet Store right now. There are obviously some exclusive CitizenCon stuff only for CitizenCon attendees. So if you're here at the show floor, come over to the merch booth. The line was astronomical earlier today. It's much more manageable now, so if you haven't gotten a chance to pick it up yet,
cambia la potenza sulle armi.
I was given a sweet box as an early Luminalia present, so we're going to do a little bit of an unboxing to show you guys some of the cool stuff. I mentioned earlier that I helped
devi gestire tu la potenza tra i motori, scudi e accelerazione.
Was the CDF bobbleheads. We have brought them to life finally. I know everyone has been asking for a long time for us to make these bobbleheads. Sure enough, we did. You can see them. People are blocking the way. Trust me, they look exactly like the ones in game. They're super cool, super awesome. Again, if you want a little bit of the verse in your home, pick up a bobblehead on your way out. Thank you, Luminalia Claus, for your bobblehead. This is hard to do with one hand. What else we got here? We have this very nice. People keep saying we only make black shirts. We now have an orange shirts. Take that, haters. This is actually really soft.
Bravo.
They gave me this for a bit. I'm probably just gonna steal this, to be honest. You guys won't tell, right? You guys, hey, no narking. Everyone chat, be cool. And we finally, man, this is so cool. I've heard about this, but this is like feeling it for the first time. We have this Black Star Citizen hoodie. You can see on the sleeves we have Xion and Banu. I asked Dave Haddock directly what these said, and his response was, I don't know. So whatever they say, I'm sure it's something very profound and wise from these alien races. Again, I'm just going to steal this, so sorry, merch team, if you were expecting profits on those merch, you're not going to get them. Now we do again have 3 exclusive merch items for people who are here at CitizenCon. We have a pyro t-shirt and we have 2 lithographs. I don't know if you can get I can't take him anywhere. Truly, I cannot. I don't know if you're able to see that burn-in pyro t-shirt off over there. That is exclusive to people who are here at CitizenCon 2953. Also in the middle there we have those 2 lithograph art pieces. Again, exclusive. This guy. I can't take him anywhere. Who was that man? No one important, I'm sure. But yes, we have those 2 exclusive art pieces for people who are here at CitizenCon 2953. Oh, what's this? Oh my God, that strange homeless-looking man also gave me these AirPod cases with Finley attached to them. You know what? Maybe that guy was all right. Whoever he is, I hope he's having a good day. But I actually do need AirPod cases, so again, like everything else, I'm just going to keep this. I think that wraps it up for me, so I'm going to throw it back to the main convention floor. There's going to be a lot more stuff here at CitizenCon. You guys will see it either later today or tomorrow. See you guys then.
Ok, ti entro in ala e basta. Aspetto che ricarichi anche gli scudi.
Molto figo.
L'F8 è meraviglioso. Avvisami quando riagganci la posizione. Capito?
Sì.
È una sorta di spirale non controllata. Esce quasi difficile starti appresso. Ok, dovrei avercela fatta. Ok, ho la tua scia, ce l'ho. E la tua scia è verso il pianeta. Vediamo se riesco a fermarti.
Sì, spara lì.
No, non sparo. Hitto.
Ma almeno vedi la distanza.
Non ho capito la battuta.
Spara alle gomme.
Le gomme.
Spara alle gomme. Che merda questa.
Niente, non riesco neanche a dove cazzo sei?
Ci sono.
Ok. Vai. Vuoi tornare a riparare o riprendiamo?
No, ma aspetta.
Riuscito.
riuscire a vederlo.
Minchia, ne ho caricati due, ero convinto di aver caricato uno solo.
Non mi ricordo qual era il pulsante dei freni. Ah, trovato.
Non mi ricordo. Aspetta che passo dalla live alla...
musica. Il centro di mirino automatico.
No. Veramente no. Aspetta che devo tirare su OBS. Ok, basta stare settando col browser. Ok, va bene così. Togli la preview.
Allora, come si mette in messo?
Aspetta che stavo volando. Ok. Col tastastro del mouse in teoria. Oh, bastardo.
No, fermo, sei puntato ma non sto sparando.
Ah, ok.
Lo so, devo provare un modo per farlo qua sul coso. Allora, azioni, controlli, devo mettere il joystick, se no non riesce.
Comunque non ci sei.
E building.
Ma com'è che la tua nave è tornata intera? Scusami.
Che cazzo ne so?
Per un attimo. Non muoverti, eh.
Sì.
Ah, aspetta che devo riattivare l'audio del game. Ostia.
Ok, ma qua di gioco.
Ah no, ti ho staccato i pezzi. Ok.
Qual è il coso?
Cosa?
Qual è il coso?
Staccato i pezzi. Io come sto messo? Pulsante il tastastro del mouse in teoria e sul joystick non mi ricordo perché l'ho rimappato.
Quello è.
Ma tu sei rosso. Hai Crimestat? Ok ragazzi, io direi che adesso posso anche chiudere la live perché dovrebbe essere finito. Controllo la scaletta. Ma quello era l'ultimo. Dovrebbe essere stato l'ultimo pezzo. Vediamo un attimino.
Allora, launch missiles dovrei portare per sparare. Sai come è questo missile type?
Aspetta un secondo. Eccolo qua, open image new tab. Navigating the universe. No, dovrebbe esserci. No, ci deve essere l'altra parte adesso. Non vedo più niente. No, blocca. Vediamo un pochino. Ok. Togli la più, cambi Windows qua. Ok. Chiudi di qua. Ci sono Achino quando vuoi. Hai Crimestat tu?
Non lo so.
Guarda in alto a destra se hai un'iconcina con un omino. O premi F1 e controlla. Io no.
Questo è il bottone diretto. Questo è il bottone diretto. Che cazzo è il bottone diretto? No, non ho Crimestat.
Ok.
Comunque
non ho.
Trovare un attimo il comando per switchare da fare da missile.
Sì, un secondo. Allora, che bindings? OTAS, Advanced. Dovrebbe essere veicoli, weapons. Cicla Fire Mode. No. Quello Stagger Combined. Ah no, veicolo missili.
Qual è?
E c'è proprio veicolo missili dopo. Però c'è l'increase.
Ah sì, vehicle missiles, sì, quello sì, ma quello è il pulsante per swappare.
Sai che non lo so, sto guardando. Ah, che scemo. La prima voce. Seats and Operator Modes. La primissima voce.
Sempre in veicoli missili. In veicoli missili?
No, la prima voce veicolo, Seats and Operator Mode.
Ah, ok. Qual è?
Terz'ultima voce.
Metti questo. Shield counter deploy. Ah, perché questo è il deploy.
Ma il VTOL tanto che cazzo te ne fai?
Per i missili.
Ah, sei tornato blu tra l'altro, meno male.
Per questi distance.
Vedere una roba. È ben bilanciato anche come per colpire.
Ok. Allora,
ok ragazzi, navigating the universe. Riswap un attimo su browser e vi tolgo l'audio del game così.
How you doing, Los Angeles? Boys, a lot of you here. It's great to see you. Hi.
Ok. Vai, riprendiamo.
My name's David, but everyone calls me Bone. Don't ask. Or maybe ask me later. So, my job is to oversee all the technical implementation of the UI across the company. And if I'm lucky, I get to do some programming from time to time.
Ah, ti riporto il missile subito.
At previous CitizenCon, one in the flesh, in Manchester, I talked about UI tech with my friend and colleague, ZEUS MK II. And we were making new tools and technology to help our developers with, to develop their UI. So that was a few years ago now, and now I'm really privileged to share with you how this technology has been utilized by our talented designers to help improve your experience in the verse.
Bravo.
So, along with some of my UI friends that are hidden out back there,
Bravo,
we'd like
grazie.
to show you some of these improvements which are going to help you, the
finalmente si parla di
navigate
UI
Star
qua.
Citizen Universe. Huh. So,
Cazzo, mi distrae la live a me.
why are we doing this?
Sì, così.
Well, Star Citizen is big, really big. There's so many unique places, massive planets, moons, space stations, rest stops, you know, there's just loads of places to explore. We have a huge range of spaceships of all shapes and sizes, and there's an enormous amount of things to do and see and people to meet, and all this can be shared with friends online. And as we've seen today, as our amazing online technology grows, it takes great leaps, and our online player count grows, the possibilities become almost endless. So how are we going to make sense of all this?
Cazzo.
Right. Well, one of the main ways we do this is with a user interface, or UI for short. Well, that's where we come in, unfortunately, being the UI guys. And we do this in loads of ways that you see already, whether it's your vehicle MFDs, or the HUD, or the kiosks, where you get your spaceship, or you trade commodities, or buy weapons, and all manner of diegetic UIs that you see. Diegetic meaning like things in the world that you can interact with. But our first real opportunity is through the helmet visor display.
Fermati, Achino, fermo.
The visor display gives you vital information about your status and the environment around you.
Sì, la cagacazzo qua scannerizzata.
But this display has gone through many iterations over the years, and it's been built upon and adapted. And I don't know if who remembers Arena Commander 1.0 that came out. It came out about a year after I started.
which was primarily space combat and racing, so the visor was geared towards that. And then it evolved with our first adventures into the online universe. And as all the features get added and all these new things, the visor grows and we put things on it to show you, I know, different statuses and like tells you all about what's going on. But with all this evolution, we sometimes lose focus. There's so much we need to know, and when we need to know it is important. So how do we zero in on what's important and at what time? So leaning on this technology that Zane and I and the UI tech team wrote a few years ago, we're trying to take a smarter perspective and rework the visor for you. So I'm not going to tell you about that. I'm going to invite Simon Bursey onto the stage and he can tell you more about it. Simon? You on this?
Oh, adesso ti vedo.
Hey everybody. Okay, so Star Citizen, as you know, is a big project which has evolved over its lifetime. Early on in the project, we added the visor, which is the display you see on your helmet when you're walking around the universe in first person. Because the game is always expanding, we often add new gameplay features, and with those come new UI. The various teams slotted pieces into whatever place made sense at the time, but this eventually became very complex. The current live UI can get very cluttered. We have lots of information competing for your attention, so you don't always know where to look, and sometimes overlaps can make things difficult to read. So, as you can probably tell, the UI team wanted to do a redesign. We wanted to improve the player's experience by presenting the important information in a clear way. We also needed to create a new framework that supports all the existing features and allows us to add more in future. And finally, we wanted to bring the visuals up to the high standard we're setting for Squadron 42 and soon the Star Citizen persistent universe.
Ho focussato troppo presto.
So how do we go about that? I believe user interface should always be a collaboration with the teams who build the underlying features. So we worked closely with them on a new layout, keeping some pieces, combining others, and maybe getting rid of a few. Once we'd figured out the design, we built a new framework using our 3D UI system, and then we worked closely with the various game teams to take all that complex data that existed before and hook it up to the new user interface. When we designed player-facing UI, we often tried to start with the worst case first, so we can see everything we have to deal with. It was important for us to keep the central area as clear as possible, to make it easier for you to see the underlying game.
Dimmi quando hai un'integrità strutturale bassa che
and with each of those, we have a set of widgets that can show, hide, and stack when you need them. So, I've told you about everything we wanted to achieve, but wouldn't it be great to see it in game? Does anybody here want to see a live demonstration?
No, con l'effetto no. Bello l'elmo nuovo.
Good. I was hoping you'd say that, otherwise it would have been a very short demo.
Torniamo a ripararci.
Okay, so we're going to show you some of our new UI running live in the game. Everything you see is in real time, but I have to tell you we've created a special mission just for the show, which is a little different to what you see in the live game. Okay, so, as you can see, Bones driving.
Bello,
I'm going to say Bones' name a lot from the other guys too, so it's probably the most times you'll hear that in any presentation. Okay, welcome to the Orison Providence platform. You may have spotted it earlier, but today is the first time we've shown the new visor we developed and tested in Squadron 42. But you'll be happy to know all the UI you see today is going to make its way to Star Citizen. But this is secret UEE Navy tech, so we'll give it a different look for the persistent universe. As you can see, the display is very clean by default. Many of the elements are contextual, meaning they appear when you need them to avoid cluttering the screen.
Ho capito che arriverà, ma quando arriva? Non lo dico mai.
So we can focus on them later in this demo. Okay, Bo, let's move into
Dimmi quando ci sei,
Okay, when we get a new mission objective, it appears in the top right of the screen. And you can see that our first mission is to repair a radiation leak. We've done a major overhaul of the augmented reality marker system, so we can follow the yellow on-screen marker to get to our objective.
Oh, molto bello.
At the top of the screen, you'll also see the compass. Okay, Bone, let's head towards the objective. We were already happy with the way the player status widgets worked, showing you contextual information about your
Quando
character
torni che
and
sei pronto,
environment.
entra in ala.
So we've given them some visual polish and added a few new ones.
Bello, molto bello l'elmo nuovo, le lab display nuovo.
The environmental radiation here is quite high, and over time it will wear down our suit and damage the player. Looks like we can see the source of the radiation there. I think somebody's damaged a pipe, so how are we going to fix it?
Sì.
If we were in space, we could use a salvage and repair ship. Luckily, UEE have some advanced portable tech. Bone, please equip the military multi-tool.
Wow,
The military multi-tool
bello!
from Squadron 42 has various modes, one of which gives us the ability to salvage and repair on while
Guarda
on
la
foot.
live. Questo è
Okay,
il nuovo
Bone, let's use the
multitool,
multi-tool to repair that pipe.
quello militare. Cazzo, strabello. Bello. Dimmi quando sei in ala,
Okay. Right, we can see at the bottom left of the screen the
Carica il
radiation levels
quantum.
are decreasing. So let's head into the scene.
Non sei ancora carico.
Go on, Bone.
Quando sei in verde saltiamo.
Okay. Now we fix the damage, we need to find the enemies that caused it.
Vieni,
While on the way,
atterriamo.
you'll notice that the on-foot emissions at the top of the screen. We're emitting infrared, electromagnetic radiation, and also sound. If any of these go higher than the background levels, it will be easier for the enemies to detect us. Let's
C'è il
take a look
tasto
at the bad
apposta,
guys,
non mi
Bone.
ricordo qual è.
As part of the emissions from radar tech, we also have the ability to scan while we're on foot. If we tap the
Guarda che
button,
sia in
we can do
rosso,
a quick
sta
scan
attento.
to reveal everything,
Rallenta.
to reveal info about anything that's in our view currently. Okay, Bone, let's do a
Minchia,
quick
già l'uno.
scan.
Io trovo un troppo, devo staccare che domattina devo fare un
This
lavoro.
highlights whatever's in our line of sight.
Non ne frega niente. Comunque ho scoperto che per far funzionare il
There's
tasto
also some risk and
della
reward to the
chiamata,
scanning system.
se devo
Aspetta.
By holding the
Aspetta un
button,
attimo.
we can charge our scanner, and this
Aspetta un attimo,
reveals enemies through walls using a more powerful wave. But it does cause a spike in our emissions, which makes it easier to detect. Okay, let's do a charge scan, please, Bone. Okay. We can also see the augmented reality box outs, which give us a
Cazzo, che
summary of what
bello,
we
che-
detected. Okay, let's have a look at our weapons. Let's get the gun out, please, Bone. Okay, we wanted to help the player see their equipment during combat, so we upgraded the weapons display. As well as the ammo in the gun and the spare mags in their pockets, we also now show the player's explosives and med pens.
Bello. Perché non mi
Okay,
restocca?
let's fight the bad guys.
E c'è questo qua?
Che vuol dire invece c'è qualche barba?
There you can see our new explosive
Che hai la nave
marker,
rotta
designed to
e
help
non
stop
gira
deadly grenades,
correttamente.
mines and missiles more easily.
Quello me ne rendo conto.
Minchia, 18.000 di danni mi hai fatto. Bravo.
You do it? Okay. Golden Bone.
Cosa?
Ma ho Cranston.
Hai Kreinstat, vai a pagare.
No, no, i soldi che devo fare, devo spendere a pagare.
Te li do io, quanto ti serve? Adesso poi andiamo a fare la missione. Anzi, facciamo che andiamo subito a fare una missione.
Ma perché? Aspetta, che devo fare per quello.
Hai sparato a quell'altro?
Sì.
Success. Okay.
Senti,
A me puoi sparare, agli altri no.
There's no more hostiles nearby, so let's take a moment to talk about the Moby Glass.
perché non lo
The
riesci?
Moby Glass is the Star Citizen
È giusto,
equivalent
perché
of your
devi sparare agli altri?
smartphone, It has various apps that hook into the gameplay systems. Like all the UI we're showing you today, we wanted to redesign it with the player's usability in mind.
Non è rosso, no.
To make it look good, and also lay the groundwork for future expansion. Let's bring up the mobile glass, please, Bone.
Mi serve una piazzola per...
Bellissimo. Minchia, questo è bello, cazzo. Ma buttatelo fuori con la 322.
We've redesigned the interface to give a smoother user experience. We've overhauled the visuals, as you can see, to make it feel more three-dimensional and holographic. This is actually a sneak peek of the UEE military mobi-glass we've created for Squadron 42. This version has a focused selection of apps, and we're going to expand on that when we bring the mobi-glass to the Star Citizen persistent universe. We'll also have more of a smartphone feel in the PU with a wider range of apps. Okay, let's briefly talk about this home screen. It gives us an overview of our health, the environment, and even our ship. We can also check our mission objective. Okay, so that's enough about the mobi-glass. We've got some more really cool UI just around the corner. And to tell you a bit more about that is the very talented Zane Bien.
Bello cazzo ragazzi, sto UI, l'interfaccia qua è bella.
Throughout human history, as we have ventured towards the allure of the unknown, we have used cartography as a key component to help shape our understanding and make sense of the world around us. Without these systems in place to catalog our experiences and to chart our journeys, we are forever lost amidst our own environment, and we are just running around aimlessly. This is why it is super important that you, as citizens of our ever-growing, ever-evolving, persistent universe, are equipped with the tools necessary to make your ventures meaningful. So, with that said, I want to show you something that I think is extremely cool.
Ti scerò la missione.
So, Bone, our next objective is to go to the map kiosk and download a terminal. Let's go ahead and activate it. What you see on screen, zoom out a bit, what you see on screen is a fully live 3D representation of the environment that we are in.
Bella cazzo, anche la mappa nuova. Se spegnessi le luci magari.
You can see callouts of the various default points of interest. You can pan the map around, you can rotate it, and you can even cycle the floors that you're on to isolate the visual of the floor that you're on. So our current objective, it's much more interesting if we can actually take this on the go. So let's download it to our databank.
Sta cosa che devi downloadare le mappe però un po' mi fa strano, Che
As you'll notice, we now have the representation of the environment in the upper left corner of our
però è bello il fatto di avere finalmente la mappa in alto a sinistra. Buttatela fuori con la 322 questa. Altro che squadron.
Now the thing that's really interesting to note at this point is not all environments will have such a convenient kiosk available. You may encounter run-down settlements, or you might come across a cave that no one else has ever set foot on before.
Ok, vieni
What will happen in this instance is your radar will incrementally update your map and incrementally reveal your environment and just save that to your databank. So you kind of reveal it incrementally. So this map, what we see in the upper left corner of our visor is not really just a map. What it really is actually data. It's our radar. And we can see contacts on our radar as we scan.
Intanto vieni su M5.
It's basically what we have available stored in our databank. So because we have the location data saved to our data bank, we can obviously access that via our mobiGlas. So let's go ahead and pull it up in our mobiGlas, because this is going to get really interesting.
Questo è bello, cazzo. Stanno presentando un casino di roba veramente bella. Io salto al beacon, sennò questo qua non ci muore.
So you can see this lerping transition between the different floors and marker callouts of our objective and also where we are. I would like to talk a little bit about the tech behind this. What you're seeing is not a pre-baked asset, and I want to reiterate that because all of our environments can be very dynamic, and they can change. They can take damage. Perhaps economic shifts might cause changes in the environment, and we can't export a totally custom asset.
Sì, fa niente. Era la missione.
So what we've done is we've collaborated with our graphics team to enable us to render the environment in this way. And what it is we're actually whitelisting objects that we render and excluding everything that we don't need to render. So in our level markup, we basically have the designers and artists mark up only the bits that are necessary for the map. This lets us have a very compelling visual, but without much of the cost. So I think what we can do at this point, what I want to show you is something very interesting. So we might look around on this map and note down certain areas that might look interesting that we might want to revisit later. We can see some doors on this map, and these doors are entities that are called out on the map, and they may change state. So there can be some doors which have a locked state, which they will display red. And doors that are open will be green. And there are other entity callouts that can happen in our map.
Andiamo.
So let's go ahead and find a location to put down a pin, please, Bone. Maybe that one. Maybe that door looks interesting.
Sto saltando.
Press T. So,
puoi mettere anche cazzo di
marker, and we can customize the details of that marker. Now, what you'll notice as well as we set markers, there's metadata that is encoded into each of these markers on top of the customized name that we can specify. So we can mark as many markers as we want in this map.
Quando facciamo queste missioni, ricordati sempre di andare in Mercenary e attivare il Call to Arms. Ti danno 500 ogni che uccidi.
We can't really talk about markers without mentioning data running.
Non posso scerartela quella, mi sa.
So you might specialize in exploration, whereas perhaps a miner might specialize in the equipment.
Bella la mappa,
ragazzi. So you as an explorer might be in the business of going around and exploring and finding locations that are very valuable to other professions. And the role of these markers are very important in coming up with the data, and so it's very important. We can basically, when you name your markers, you can make it as maybe obvious, or you can leave it a mystery. So you'll have when you sell it on the market, you could get rated for how accurate the data is. So So the other thing is we have a mission objective as well. And it would be very nice to be able to route to that mission objective. How do we get there? That is another purpose of the map, is basically navigating and letting us know the way towards that towards a destination. So let's go ahead and plot a route to this objective.
Bevi, ci butterei via. No, anche il patting, spettacolo.
So, we can see a line being drawn from where we are up the stairs to
Questi sono
our
i quality of life che
destination where we
servono,
wanna go.
ragazzi.
So you will no longer be
Questo
lost
gioco.
amidst all of our super complex environments. And what's worth mentioning at this point, and what's really cool, is this under the hood is actually utilizing another piece of tech, AI pathfinding. And so what that allows us to do is leverage other existing tech to basically, it does all the heavy lifting. We just
Facciamo sta missione che è facile, Kino. Te l'ho scerata.
So because of that, there are certain cases where the path might be blocked. It might have a locked door, or there might be a fire that is in our way. The AI pathfinding will account for that. It will go through doors, it will handle elevators, and it will handle fires, locked doors, and it will just handle everything. So that is an example of sort of a piece of tech that we've leveraged under the hood to help us achieve this goal.
Non male.
So, one last thing we can do at the moment is we want to ensure that there are no more hostiles in our way as we make our way to our objective. So, what we can do is we could send out a ping. Bone, if you send out a ping, please.
Minchia che
So
spettacolo.
scanning will also be represented in the map in the same fashion as it is when you're in FPS. So we know that there's no more hostiles. Let's go ahead and make our way to our objective. As you can see in the upper left corner, we now have the route line represented, our destination, and the distance it takes to get there. As we traverse this path,
pure la distanza.
the path automatically updates.
Buono.
And if you deviate from that path, it will recalculate the route you need to get to your destination.
È un GPS.
So there's our buddy. He's flying in. So we'll make our way up to the carrick here, to the right. You'll also notice the pin that we've laid down, as well as our marker objective called out on the map.
Bisogna capire se questi
And as you'll
pin
notice, as we head up the stairs,
funzionano anche sulle nostre navi.
will dynamically change as you head up the stairs. If we can get past this first bit.
Anche come quantum point. Penso di sì,
So, as we make our way into the carrot, it's not just environments or caves or cities. We can represent the ship on our interior map.
Oh,
And it's
la
totally
mappa
seamless as you
dell'interior è tanta
transition
roba.
between the two. So let's go ahead and pull up our mobi-glass again and get a wider view of our ship. So we are now on the technical deck, but we can also see the other floors. If you traverse the floors, Bone, just to demonstrate it. Here's our cartography deck. Down one. And our habitation deck. So you will have noticed from a previous presentation that this was very similar looking.
Stai attaccando la roba sbagliata, Chino, mi sa, eh?
No, stanno attaccando me. Cazzo, sta attaccando la roba
our tech.
sbagliata.
So, not only will this benefit you as a player, but it also benefits us as developers, because we generalize this system so that other developers can leverage our map to create compelling gameplay.
Bella sta roba della mappa.
Other teams can leverage our tech, and we leverage the tech from other teams, and it's a circle of life.
Bisogna trovare il monitor, Achino.
Cool.
Manca il
Sì,
terzo.
non posso se non 1000 missioni che mi seguono.
Wow. Con tutte le porte, tra l'altro.
So, we've been talking about environments, cities, representing ships on our map.
No, Achino, mi sa che di nuovo ho preso il
planet
cranio.
terrain.
No, sempre due ne ho.
I mean, our universe is quite big, right?
2 addirittura?
It's only a small fraction
Minchia.
of what our universe is.
Il problema è che ho i missili che mi seguono.
What if?
Aspetta, cos'è sto what if?
Have we tried this? What happens if we just take your mouse wheel and just zoom out a little bit? Keep going. Keep zooming out, all the way out, all the way out. Let's go. So, it's not just the interior map, it's not just the radar.
Bello.
It is the map. It is one single unified system just across different scales.
Bello. Oh,
and
finalmente ci becchiamo una mappa fatta bene. Ping, my location, set marker.
We are above Crusader, and at this point I want to invite Emily Hansen onto the stage to talk about the map as seen at this scale. Thank you very much, everybody.
Aspetta un attimo che sta rivelando la mappa nuova e ora.
Hello, CitizenCon! Are you ready for this? Phone, do you want to click on the marker? As you all suspected, this is the star map.
Bella. Bella la mappa nuova. Ok, abbiamo finito la missione, Achino.
Ma dove cazzo
I'm
ti
so
trovavi?
excited to be here today to reveal this to you all.
Trovati
I
io.
hope you're excited too.
Abbiamo un buchi addosso.
I think we all know the current star
Aspetta,
map
un buchi addosso.
needed a bit of work. And we've done that. Now, mapping the universe is no easy task, but we've taken some big steps forward with this upgrade to make it so much easier for you to navigate the stars. Before we dive into the details, let's just take a second to admire Crusader's new look. Phone, why don't you take a look around?
Minchia bella la mappa
Much
nuova.
like the interior map, the star map is holographic. And this lets us add some cool interference effects and details to our planet
Bella la
textures.
mappa nuova, così.
You can also see
voglio
our
vederla.
new player
Aspetta un
marker
attimo,
and that
Achino,
we're currently at
aspetta.
Orison.
Voglio vederla di zoomata
Player and
però.
location markers have merged at this scale because they're so close together. The player marker takes priority, which is why the marker displays the player icon and color. By smartly merging with bigger points of interest at larger scales, the player marker always remains visible to you. You'll always know where you are relative to points of interest near and far.
Questo non è male.
So, is everyone ready to see more?
Sì. Facci vedere di più, facci vedere di più.
Bone, let's take the step back button. That's the one on the right over here. So we can see, take a look at Crusader and all of its moons.
Bello. Molto più chiaro.
Yeah, so here we are, Crusader, its moons, orbits. You can also see that labels have received a major visual update. They're now fully 3D, and this gives them a really cool perspective. Most labels are aligned to the galactic plane, and they rotate with the map. Bone, give the map a spin. Bone, can you tilt past the horizon, please? When we do this, the labels flip so you can always read them clearly.
Ok. Vabbè, questa cosa direi che è abbastanza... ci sta. Mi sembra un po' piattina però come cosa.
No, lascia stare, è tutta quella di ora che non si riesce a manovrare.
Sì, sì, quello sì, assolutamente. Non c'è paragone. Bello.
Surface labels face the camera and appear when they're in the central part of the planet, reducing on-screen clutter.
Comunque ti posso dire che come piattaforma di atterraggio e tutto il resto mi piaceva di più quella dove spawnavamo prima.
La Olisar. Non c'è più Olisar.
Markers on the far side of the planet fade out, so they don't take focus from the locations you currently care more about on the near side of the planet.
Bello.
Can you double click on one of the points of interest?
Sì, è molto più chiara così, Vero.
Minchia, sei molto più chiara.
As we selected this marker, its label
È
will
chiara,
stay
però non
visible
so quanto riesca a essere effettivamente pratica così, secondo me.
So far, we've showed you that you can use buttons and double-clicking to jump to objects you're interested in. But wouldn't it be nice if you could also freely zoom out and into locations? Shall we try it, Bone? Let's zoom out until we can see Crusader.
No, cioè, così effettivamente è molto più comodo.
We wanted to ensure you have freedom to move around, but this flexibility requires us to be really careful about how and when markers appear. Markers need to disappear when they get too small, but also stay visible when they're still relevant to your view. This isn't simple because objects in a solar system are vastly different sizes. Think about the size of a star versus a planet versus you, the player. You're kind of small compared to a star, right? Our solution is a technique we call cosmetic scaling. This allows us to draw a marker at its real size when we are close to it and artificially increase its size as we zoom out until we reach the point where it collapses into larger points of interest in the hierarchy. You can see this in action here. There's no way Crusader and its moons are this size, at this scale in reality. They've been scaled up massively so you can see them. Bone, let's zoom out a bit more so we can see the moons disappear.
Cazzo, ma che bello che puoi dezoomare completamente, rimane pulito.
You can also start to see Crusader's orbit line around the sun here. But before we go back, before we move on to that, let's zoom back in so we can see everything come back as we get closer.
Bella cazzo. Che lavoro che hanno fatto.
As well as zoom, you can also pan around the map.
Aspetta che non ti sento aquí in un attimo.
Bone, feel free to have a quick look around. As we draw closer to a marker, the cursor automatically magnetizes to it. This ensures you never lose track of what you're trying to view when you zoom in. No more zooming in on empty space!
Oh, finalmente.
Bone, let's use this technique to take a closer look at Yela. The magnetic cursor does not require us to click on markers. Keep zooming in. Bone, can you keep zooming in? Thank you. You can see that the surface markers appear without us needing to select Yela itself. Imagine how much easier finding that outpost will be now.
Sì. Così è bella.
Crusader, as you all know, isn't all there is though. We've got a pretty big universe out here. Do you want to see some more? Let's have a look at a location further afield. Can we just pan to Calliope maybe? Bone, let's give that a try. Yeah, I think we're getting lost. Pretty sure we can all disagree this might not be the best strategy. So, what can we do? Bone, let's try clicking on the middle button over here. This returns us to our previously selected marker.
Cazzo,
As I
molto meglio
mentioned, we
così.
did not select Yela, so we've gone back to Selin. So, now we know where we are. That's a step in the right direction. But we're still not at Calliope. So, we need to find a different way. Bone, could you take a step? Could you use the step back button until we can see the whole solar system, please? There it is.
Ho preso un'altra missione, Chieno. Te la share.
I think Calliope is one of Microtech's moons. So if we double click on that bone, we should be able to see it.
Sì, io sono un attimo a farmi i cazzi miei.
And there it is. Bone, let's pan to it and then zoom in so we can see that magnetic cursor in action again.
Fatto così, la mappa è tutta un'altra cosa.
Can you zoom in, Bone? Thank you. It's so cool to see more of our moons and planets and how different they all look.
Allora, in teoria bidimensionale è anche più
Okay, so this is great. But what if I hadn't already known where Calliope was?
Certo.
Surely there's a faster way. We've got you.
Anche di 3D
We've provided a drop down that lists the points of interest in the solar system. Bone, want to expand it now?
Aspetta.
We're actively working on ways to improve the way this list is presented to you, to make it even easier to find what you're looking for. And yes, this will include search functionality.
Bello, figa.
But for now, Bone, let's use this to go to Ariel. I absolutely love zooming around on this map. Bone, want to find Area 18 for me? So, Area 18 is currently on the dark side of the planet, it seems. Of course, it's not just planets and moons. Bone, how about we take a look at Security Post Korea? It's quite a long way down, isn't it? This is where the upcoming search will really come in useful.
Oh, hanno fatto proprio un bel lavoro, eh.
Bone, want to zoom in a little and show off our
Preso un'altra
holographic model of
missione,
the station?
te la share.
Bone, can you also drop the drop down again, please? Thank you. As you may have noticed, the recent list in the drop-down populates as you click on locations in the list. It will remember your 3 most recent selections, so you can use this to quickly return to places in case you want to check something else again. Bone, let's use this to go back to Ariel.
Ah, ti dà le recenti, bello.
Okay,
Bello,
so
bello.
we've done a lot of exploring. I think it's time that we head back. We could do this by selecting Orison from the list, but we also have our own marker that we can take advantage of here. The eagle-eyed amongst you may have noticed that the player marker clamps to the edge of the map, keeping it visible to you no matter how far away you go. To get back to our position, we could double-click that marker, or we could click the first of the navigation buttons to zoom straight there. Now, I'm sure many of you have been wondering if we can go back to our carrot map from the star map, just like how we got here from the carrot map just a few minutes ago. So, let's see what happens when we focus on our player marker. Go ahead, Bone.
Spettacolare.
All right, so yeah, here's our carrot again. Being able to simply zoom between these map contexts lets you draw meaningful connections between what's on the ground and what's in the skies like never before. Bone, just for fun, let's zoom all the way back out so we can see the entire Stanton solar system. It's just so cool to watch the verse open up before our eyes. With all these new possibilities for moving around the star map, you should never find yourself lost again. The controls are so much smoother and easier to use than the star map you're all used to, as I hope Bone agrees. Knowing that what we've shown here today is just the beginning for the upgraded star map. You saw pinning in the local map, and we'll add this to the star map before you get here. Just imagine being able to mark something interesting you find out there in the verse and then sharing that location with friends, just like Zane said. Exploration is about to get a lot more interesting, and we're doing everything we can to ensure the star map is your brightest window to the stars yet.
Ma io non posso saltare.
Let's welcome our intrepid demo driver Bone back to the stage.
No, il discorso è, ma non posso piazzare tipo un marker dove voglio io per fare quantum. Quello sarebbe figo.
So, we're really excited about getting all these features into your hands of the players of Star Citizen and Squadron 42.
Ho capito.
We know they're going to make a huge difference to the way you make your way around the universe. So let's just quickly review what we've seen. We've rebuilt the visor display to give you a better understanding of the environment around you. With the new minimap, with the integrated radar and ping, and it will help you find your way around. There's a new Mobiglass coming with its sleek new design.
Sì, ma è
We're
quando
improving all the existing apps, and we're going to develop some new ones too along the way. So we've got a video now. And then there's our interior map technology, which will truly help you understand your surroundings. Better awareness of your surroundings and threats, exploring new and mapping new areas, pinning locations for later and sharing these with your friends.
La parte dell'esplorazione è bella.
Ma che figata è che puoi vedere anche le montagne.
Oh, the Idris.
Sì, sì.
Oh, it's great.
Ok.
Puoi vedere anche le strutture di cosa.
Guarda, puoi vedere le navi all'interno. Ma che quanto cazzo è bella sta.
Sì, ma le navi tue o degli altri cose.
Esatto. Come è fatta bene?
No, esatto, un cazzo. Le navi tue o degli altri.
Questo non te lo so dire.
Horizon?
Questo è Horizon. Puoi pingare, figa. Ti fa vedere le navi. Ah no, quello è. Quella era la navetta di spostamento che arrivavano alle sue porte, quelle.
And of course,
spettacolare.
our entirely new integrated star map. With its new interface and, let's face it, a much needed refresh to the user experience.
Sì, sono d'accordo.
No more getting lost.
No.
A whole new perspective.
Vai, altra missione, Chino.
With all these upcoming features, where were you
Te l'ho scerata.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Io voglio andare a Pyro. Mi dite di Pyro, per favore? Ancora non l'avete detto? O Play, o P. O Play, o P. Oh.
All right. Sorry. I was back there trying to figure out how to reprogram my Alexa to respond to Bone. Bone, add Cheerios to the grocery list. Bone, rescue the hostages.
Your browser encountered an error while decoding. Mi ha crashato pure Star Citizen.
is a heck of a day one. You want to do it again tomorrow?
Tanta roba.
We saw Star Engine and all the amazing improvements that are coming to
Cosa,
Star
Pino?
Citizen and Squadron 42.
Sì?
We saw the next step in the evolution of resource management and the birth of multi-crew gameplay. We saw the ship, guys. And of course, come on, the star map, the interior map, everything.
Aspetta che ti join. Tutto molto bello, ma quando?
I often joke that we're just like you in many of the same ways. We want the same things. We need the same things. We have all, collectively, all 1,300 of us working for Cloud & Frame Games, been like, when Star Map? When? To see it. So
Esatto.
good. So yeah, this wraps up day one. I'm going to tell you that Hall B is going to be open for about another 2 hours. So if you haven't had a chance to check out the Pyro Playground and all that stuff, go ahead and do that. Tomorrow, be sure you come back. We got character advancement. That's Ian Leyland, Sean Tracy, Forrest Steffen, and Andre Perez. I really want to tell you what you're going to see, but you're not going to want to miss it. If you thought the opening to day one was hot, check out the opening to day two. We got life in the first person. We got our FPS crew. We're going to show you how all of these things integrate into the FPS combat experience. We got Taking Flight with Yogi. Who doesn't love Yogi? It's another live demo where they're going to show you the space flight and atmospheric flight experience that's been developed in the master modes in Squadron 42. We got Living on the Edge and Destination Adventure, a two-part look at all the new locations that are coming in the Pyro system, the Stanton system, and I've been here 9 years. I got to make it to 10. So yeah, everybody, from the bottom of my heart and standing here in front of the 1,300 people who make this game possible, thank you for joining us for CitizenCon. Come back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific. We'll see you then. Day one was great. You ain't seen nothing yet. Take care, everybody.
Ok ragazzi, CitizenCon per oggi è out.